Better Man has seemingly been super popular amongst audience members. So, what's my thoughts on it? It's unique. It's certainly a unique depiction of a musician, one I haven't seen before. To quote Robbie Williams, it's a depiction of how he views himself, hence the monkey. The monkey could be jarring for some. There's no escaping that fact. What we've got here is a story about the life and turbulent times of Robbie Williams, from his transition from being the bad boy member of the boy band and playing second fiddle to Gary Barlow, to struggling to find his own voice and finding out how to entertain, as his song "Let Me Entertain You" so aptly suggests. He becomes the pop star and the man responsible for the highest ever turnout at Nebworth, still to this day, I believe, which is incredible when you consider the likes of Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin have played there. Robbie Williams' story is an interesting story, but there's one inescapable thing that we will come back to a bit later, so stay tuned. When we talk about a musical biopic, obviously we have to talk about the music itself. And as someone who adores Robbie Williams' music and thinks, this is a big statement, but forgive me, that it's some of the most timeless pop out there, from She's the One to Feel, Better Man, Come Undone, Angels, of course. The way that they've integrated the music in this movie, I thought was really seamless and used masterfully. Like, it never felt shoehorned in. It never felt like they were making the decision of, oh, we need to put Robbie Williams music in here because it's a Robbie Williams music biopic, but it doesn't fit in naturally. Let's just force it in. No, the music and the lyrics of his various songs made sense in the given moment that they were used in the movie. They hit the right dramatical notes. They hit they hit the right elevation notes. Like, you really felt like you were in Robbie Williams' mindset. Such was the relevance of the lyrics of his song. So to that end, this movie really does work. I want to put one special note out here. I read all sorts of things about how difficult it was for them to shoot that scene in Regent Street. That scene, which, I'm sure if you know now, you know. But it is truly one of the great moments, and I anticipate going to be one of the great cinematic moments of 2025. Let Me Entertain You, in a one shot all the way down Regent Street, no cuts, is really one of the best things I've seen for a while. It's one of my favorite Robbie Williams songs, and to see it enacted this way, I went with my mate Louis, and I tell you, man, if we were both smiling when that played, and we both looked at each other afterwards and were like, that was awesome. And it was. It really, really did work. Now, I did mention that Robbie Williams' story is interesting. To be honest, if you're like me and you like his music, no pun intended, it really does hit all the right notes. And if you're not that familiar with his music, I genuinely believe you'll probably like the music off the back of this, because I do think his songs are pretty universally appealing. On that note, I'd actually love to know, if you were not familiar with his songs, what did you think? Comment below. But now, directly contrasting to what is an interesting story, here's the problem. It's a story that's been seen so many times before. And I know people are going to go, well, what did you want? It's a real story. Sure, you can't rewrite history. You can't. You can only present a biopic as the biopic intends. It's not any fault of the movie. It's just a question of the law of diminishing returns. The story of musician shoots to fame, has struggle coping with fame, goes through some sort of regression, such as drug abuse or abuse at home, or falling out with his partner, or cheating on his partner, followed by his rehabilitation or coming back to fruition. Come on, let's be real. This is stuff that's been seen before. I mean, just recently, look, Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocket Man, Back to Black, Straight Outta Compton, like Walk the Line. I'm sure the new Bob Dylan movie is going to paint a similar picture. Elvis, they all tell the same story, and these are all movies that have come up pretty recently. So it's not the movie's fault. It's more, I guess, a sort of observation on real life, that musicians seem to come into success too quickly and struggle to deal with it. And therefore, they all share pretty similar stories. I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule. I'm sure the pedantic amongst you might even pick out some of the examples I just gave and say, well, actually, no, in that movie it was wrong. The crux of what I'm trying to say is that the story of the musician who shoots to fame and then fails and then gets rehabbed, for lack of a better word, been seen a lot before. And the movie doesn't show anything new here. It's also got very conflicting deliveries of the interpersonal relationships. For instance, Robbie's relationship with his Nana, superb. Robbie's relationship with his friends around him or with his girlfriend, Nicole Applegate, yeah, it all feels a bit rushed. Never shoehorned in, but rushed and not given enough time to breathe, which is crazy when you consider the movie's actually quite long. So, off the back of that, I would say that the personal relationships feel very imbalanced, and equally, the movie does suffer from some pacing issues. And as I said at the top of this review, the monkey may be jarring. I'm just actually going to paraphrase what Louis said. The monkey's basically redundant. I think pulling the curtain back and breaking the fourth wall, I think one of their reasons for using the monkey was probably because Robbie Williams was in this movie playing himself for large part. And yeah, while it's nice to say, well, it's how he views himself, I'm sure that's true. But I would also believe probably that generating a CGI monkey is a really good way to show his lack of acting prowess. Just slight cynical thought. Portraying him as a monkey didn't add to the movie. It didn't really detract, but it just felt odd. Odd and unnecessary. I'm going to go 6.5 out of 10 for Better Man. In summary, Better Man is this. It's the much anticipated cinematic exploration of Robbie Williams' life. It's a film that dazzles in moments, yet stumbles under the weight of its ambition. The integration of Williams' iconic songs is undeniably a high point, with each track expertly woven into the narrative fabric, lending emotional resonance and vitality to key scenes, whether it's the exuberance of Let Me Entertain You or the reflective melancholy of Angels. The soundtrack underscores both the highs and lows of Williams' turbulent journey. However, the decision to portray Williams as a digital monkey feels more like a gimmick than a meaningful addition. While it ostensibly symbolizes Williams' struggles with fame and self-perception, it adds little depth, instead distracting from the core narrative. Ultimately, Better Man succumbs to the well-trodden pitfalls of the musical biopic genre. Its story of meteoric rise, personal downfall, and eventual redemption is competently executed, but offers little innovation, making it yet another retelling of familiar plot points. While the film entertains, and will in no doubt please fans, it fails to elevate itself above the crowd, leaving us with a polished but somewhat uninspired portrayal of a complex artist whose life deserved, possibly, a little bit more. But over to you guys. What do you think of Better Man? Do you think it's a resounding success? I know a lot of you do. Or does some of the things I've said resonate? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And we've got the return of the Mount Rushmore next week, so be sure to look out for that, as well as the launch of our classic movie review show. So stay tuned right here to the Silver Screen Dudes for all that. Hit that notification bell so you know when those things drop, and I will see all you guys in the coming days. My name's Nico Luro. Bye for now.